Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Pearl Tips Talk Show. I actually came up with the name this time. So, here we have our special guest, Charlotte. And before we get started, if you are new to the Pearl Tips, this is a talk show where we talk about mental health, relationships, and life. But before I get into the show, I would just like to say a prayer to get us started. You can choose not to or not engage. It's totally up to you, respect to you and your beliefs. Okay, but I like to start with a prayer during this show. So if you just join me with bow your heads. Heavenly Father, thank you for another day and another opportunity to just share your love and share what I've learned with the people of the world. I pray that you would take away any nerves that we might have so that our communication will be coming through clearly and it will be understood and someone will be able to receive a blessing from this. I thank you. In your holy name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, so Charlotte, who is Charlotte? I will go ahead and read your bio because you gave an excellent bio and I want to make sure I got everything and also slim it down too. So our guest today is Charlotte Leonard. She is from, did I say that right? Leonard?
Yes.
Okay, I was about
Yes.
to say, wait a minute, did I say it wrong? Okay. Charlotte Leonard, she is currently working in the healthcare field. She holds a master's of health law. She is a John Maxwell coach, teacher, and trainer and speaker, and is also a licensed Florida nursing home administrator. Not to mention the South Florida's most powerful and influential Black leaders in business in 2017 and a Woman of Excellence business executive aware a winner in 2015. And she's an AKA. So just all around excellent person. So Charlotte, today our topic is how do we support the elderly and vulnerable adult population during the pandemic? And we're going to start by talking about the Maslow hierarchy of needs. And would you be able to kind of give us a little bit more information about what it is for those who don't know?
Sure. Maslow's hierarchy is a theory that I think Harold Abraham covered in partnership to pretty much study behavior in humans. And he thought that if we did not meet some basic needs in our lives, we could not progress from one level of satisfaction or one level of life's basic needs to the next level. So as we met certain needs in our lives, we were able to be satisfied at that level, move up to the next level. And so it was a progression, but it also helped you ascend up in life by meeting some of these basic needs. So if you have the graph, I can talk about it, or if you'd like, I can go ahead and start with what those basic needs are, what those psychological needs are, and how if we don't meet those basic needs at the ground level, then we're never going to get to that next level. So on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the basic needs that he talks about is us needing food, water, warmth, and we need sleep. And without some of those basic needs, we are not really able to move into that next level of life, which is security and safety. And so he saw those as some basic needs that humans needed to survive. So once those basic needs are met, so once you have that food and you have water and you have a place to sleep and you feel safe and secure in your own life, now you're able to meet that next level, which is that psychological need. And that goes into relationships, friends, intimacy. And again, meeting that need then lends you up to that self-esteem and building and pouring into yourself. And so these basic needs, by meeting one level, helps you elevate to the next level. And so that was Maslow's hierarchy. But he also said that if you did not, there is a deficiency. And if some of the basic needs are not met, it really can lead to anxiousness and tenseness in a human being. So there was a theory about behavior around these basic needs being met.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing that. And how is this beneficial for us to know as it pertains to seniors and the vulnerable adults who are kind of locked inside and can't really go anywhere during this pandemic?
Well, thank you for asking that, because part of the reason that I wanted to talk about this is I think people are not understanding what's happening to our seniors, both those in facilities right now and those that are in homes. Late March, the governor put out an executive order that really prevented any senior facilities from allowing the public in. And by not allowing the public in, we took away entertainment. We were no longer able to have communal dining, because in a nursing home or any long-term care facility or senior facility, that is their community, that is their life. So when they wake up in the morning and they go to breakfast, they're seeing their neighbor, they're seeing their family members. Throughout the day, when they have entertainment or they're going to bingo or they're going to lunch, again, it's a family environment. It is a rich environment of friends and interaction and relationships. So when the governor put the order out in April, all of that stopped. We stopped family from coming in. We stopped friends from coming in. We stopped entertainment from being provided. We stopped religious leaders from coming in and providing that religious, spiritual aspect to their lives. So if we go back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, they're right now seniors in all levels, not just in facilities, but also in homes. So they may be being fed, they have water, and they have a place to sleep. Some of them may feel safe because they may be at home, but some of them living away from families and living in facilities may or may not feel safe at this point, because they're not seeing those people who were familiar to them and the people who provided them with that security and safety. Also now they're lacking. So not only is the basic need of food and water is the only need that's being met, maybe for some seniors and some elders in the home environment, now their security is threatened. Now their safety is threatened. They're alone. They're not feeling safe because they're not surrounded by people who protected them before. So now part of that basic need is not being met. It's really hard now to move up to that next level of a psychological need where you're needing family, you're needing friends, you have relationships. You don't have that right now. So seniors in nursing homes, assisted living facilities, independent living facilities are eating alone. They're no longer able to have recreation. And that's also for seniors in their own homes. They're locked away. There's no family. There's no friends. They're not going to church. So what is happening in that nursing home environment is also happening for our seniors that are living in the community. So some basic needs are being met, as I said, as long as the food and the water is there and the shelter. But we're missing security and safety, and a big part of the friendships, the relationships, and family. That I think is missing right now for most of our seniors. So I think the pandemic is impacting the psychological, um, mental state of a lot of our seniors.
And not only in our seniors, like we see that for kids to adults, and it's like the full spectrum, but we're seeing it even more in seniors who some can't even go to the grocery store because of health conditions. And then you have some vulnerable adults who also have some health issues that can't go out and meet with their loved ones or things like that. What are some ways that we can encourage family members or even communities to kind of safely interact with these vulnerable individuals?
Well, I think, that is that comes on so many levels. One, we have to be careful when we're around our seniors and our elderly population. We need to make sure that we're safe, first of all, that we're not coming around them if we're having any symptoms that might mimic the whole COVID pandemic. Also, we need to make sure we're wearing our masks, we're washing our hands, and we're standing 6 feet away whenever we're visiting them. But what we can do at this point is making sure that the basic needs are being met. Are they having meals? Do we need to shop for them? Do we need to have groceries delivered to them? Even in the nursing facilities and the assisted living, those snacks, those comfort foods that we can go out and get, or that families used to bring to them, that's no longer happening, or it's happening on a much smaller scale for some of our seniors. So right now, fill in that gap. Where is it that we can help meet those basic needs so that they can hopefully feel safe, hopefully feel secure, and be able to move into that next level?
You said that nursing homes and senior facilities and rehabilitation centers are not allowing people in, but can individuals, like, can they stand outside of the facility and kind of give music, or can they go to the window, or is that not prohibited either? Or how can there be some kind of interaction from the outside looking into the facility?
So that too is a good question. I think about a month ago, maybe two, when we were all shut in and we were told to not go outside and everybody stay home, we could not even allow at that point families or friends to do window visits. But since we have opened back up, many families are visiting through the window. We also have iPads, telephones where we're able to do a duo Zoom, or we're able to do FaceTime, we're able to do Skype. And so we're trying to do that as often as possible with our senior population, trying to connect them with family, trying to make sure that they're getting those phone calls from families, trying to make sure that they see the face of that husband or that wife. I had an email sent to me today by a family member who really, mom can't respond, but all she wants to do is to be able to talk to her mom, and she wants her mom to hear her voice. So in order for us to accomplish this, we're going to bring mom to the window of her bedroom, and we're going to crack that window just a little bit so that she can just hear that familiar voice. And again, that's going to provide that security and that safety and that familiarity that she's going to need to get that next comfort level. So, but those are some of the things that we're doing right now.
That's great. And that's fantastic, because I know, like, it's so hard to not being able to see your loved ones, and just, you worry about their safety as well. So how can, like, we, the community, for individuals who possibly don't have a loved one, or even someone who's in the facility who don't have loved ones, how can they get involved? So one idea that I had, like, I recently saw that I became pen pals with a facility in Arizona. So I want to put it forth. Yeah, I want to put it forth to the community that just because we can't go into the nursing homes and, rehabilitation facilities, it doesn't mean that we cannot interact with those who are in those facilities. It's important to, contact your local facility and see what are they want you to provide, whether it's like window visits, or if you can write a letter, become pen pals. That way we can keep down the depression and anxiety that those individuals are feeling in isolation. I know that we talked on that. So can you give me a little bit more of some of the anxieties and depression that those seniors and vulnerable individuals would be feeling at this time?
Wow. And it's so funny because before COVID, they were able to come out of their rooms and they were able to go up and down the hall. They would see staff changing shifts. It was just the hustle and bustle of your home, but it was the hustle and bustle of that facility. Now with COVID, they're stuck in their rooms because we've been directed to not allow them, of course, to come out of their rooms and commune. So they're not seeing familiar faces. They're not getting that energy. And so what's happening now, I believe some people are starting to feel isolated. And with isolation, of course, comes depression. With depression, you don't want to eat. You don't want to talk. You don't want to watch your favorite TV. And so those are some of the things that we have to continue to look out for. Some families are so diligent and so committed to their loved ones. They're putting plants outside the window. They're putting big notes and taping it to the outside of the windows. I looked out one window and there was a chair out there, like a bar stool, and with a plant inside it where the families are coming and just sitting outside the windows, I guess, and just, showing that support for the person in the room. And again, providing that connection and that relationship and that family vibes, that psychological need that they need met. We have signs, we have, I'm just trying to think of all the things people are doing on the exterior to really help keep them engaged with the community. On the inside, we still have activity directors who are doing one-on-ones. They're going in. We're writing letters to families. Families are writing letters to the residents. We're reading those letters to them. They're playing bingo, but now it's individual bingo versus the group bingo. So, we've had to learn how to modify those things that were pretty common in a nursing home and try to figure out now, how do you do that on a one-to-one basis with 30 different rooms and 2 people in a room, and try to get that same excitement and that same engagement. So I think now learning how to keep the mind sharp. You want to feed their mind. You want to engage them still in things that's going to keep them active. We need to make sure they're still up, they're still walking, they're still communicating, because you want to have them, hopefully once this is over, to return or at least be able to engage at the same level that they were before. So those are some of the things. We're playing music, we're playing gospel music, we're having church on tape, but some of the things we have to learn how to do is, how do we do that virtually now? How do we have families reach out and play that favorite music over the phone? I don't know, send a tape in with the music pre-recorded. We always talked in our family about recording our family's history on a tape. This is a great opportunity for a family now to record things on a tape, ask questions, keep them engaged in conversation while this is going on, again, so that they feel part of not only the family, but also they feel important part of the community.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what about the family members who possibly live with a multi-generational home? They live with a senior citizen, or they live with a vulnerable adult. Any suggestions for those individuals in the home?
I always have to have structure. And you don't think of this when you're living with an elderly parent or you're caring for an elderly person, but getting up in the morning and having breakfast at the same time, and not allowing that person to have breakfast alone, but sitting down at the table and having that discussion at the breakfast table, going for that walk. We need them to have a routine. One, keep them physically active. If they're not going to go for a walk outside, can they garden for a few minutes outside? Can they go outside and do something in the yard? You want to add, again, basic needs. You want to have that food, but you want to have family, and you want to have engagement. You want to have conversation, because then you're eating while you're engaging, they're eating more. So you don't want them alone while they're doing that activity. Keeping them physically active, walking, like I said, or throwing a ball in the house. You know, we get beach balls at the nursing home and we play volleyball with the beach ball, or, you know, big puzzles, word games, all of those things that the adult coloring book. Those are going to stimulate the mind. They're going to keep them feeling like they're worthy. And again, build that self-esteem, because you're feeding them, you're meeting that basic need. You're providing that safety, security in the home. You have the relationships there in the home. Now we need to give some value. We need to feed that self-esteem, make them feel worthy. So give them something to do. Fold the laundry, you know, wash the laundry, wash the dishes. And I know a lot of them can't physically stand for a lot of this, but you got to give them something to help them feel part still of the house and help them feel engaged and valuable.
Those are all absolutely great points. I know that for myself individually, I have neighbors, some neighbors in my neighborhood, and I was literally outside, you know, throwing the ball around with my dog, and my neighbor comes in with his wheelchair, and he's just watching us, you know, the dog run back and forth, and I actually gave him the ball to throw so that he can, you know, engage with the dog. And my neighbor is very like stoic, you know. He doesn't really talk a lot. He's very pleasant. He just doesn't really talk a lot. He'll say hi, but he's really shy. But when I saw him playing and engaging with my dog, it was just a beautiful thing to see. You know, I think you touched on a really good point, is keeping them engaged.
And you know, animals are the best thing for seniors. They love cats, they love dogs. So if you have a pet, you know, that's probably adding a lot more than you can ever imagine in the home. We used to bring pets from the shelter into the facilities. And again, all these things are now missing. So it is very important to help them just stay involved in life, just live. And throwing a ball with a dog is as normal as you can get. So for a senior who's able to participate in that activity, you probably added, you know, months onto his life. Who knows? But yeah, great.
That's amazing. And you talked about, like, I like how, you know, this pandemic has really made us all a little bit more creative, and not so much rely on certain things, like just to come out of the box and do things. So is there, for those individuals who live in these facilities, are there enough like technology so that they can visit with their family, or does the family provide it? How can the community help?
Well, you know, I have a friend whose father is in a nursing home, and she often texts to find out, well, how do I get to see my dad, and how does this work? And most facilities, maybe they have one, two, maybe three iPads, and we're trying to take staff and schedule out iPad or these visual visits with families. So if you think about, you know, you have maybe one activity director, you have maybe one assistant to help with this. But when you have a facility of 80 to 100 patients, and you're trying to schedule time for each of those persons to spend time visiting with their family, 3 iPads is probably not going to do it. So that would be an opportunity where facilities could use additional equipment where they can provide it, maybe 2 rooms, you know, maybe one iPad per room, so that any staff member can go in and connect with your family member for you, or a family member may be able to dial in, and that resident might be able to just respond and talk to their family at at any time, instead of us having to schedule you tomorrow at 3 o'clock. You know, so resources like that would add life, would add value, and add quality to the life of the people living in facilities. You know, I often to Alexa, you know, I laugh, but Alexa There's some families who's bought the little boxes and they play music and they talk. And some families even can communicate through Alexa or visually see the resident. So any of those kinds of technologies that's gonna, provide a source of entertainment or meet that psychological need is what we will be needing and look for from the community.
So community, there you have it. We need to do a iPad and telephone drive so that these vulnerable population can be able to keep in touch with their family members. That's amazing. Is there anything that you would like to add to kind of help out our listeners so that they would be able to feel more empowered and encouraged to help out those vulnerable populations in our community?
Well, I want to say, COVID is very serious and it has impacted long-term care, but we have managed very well to protect a lot of our residents. I know you don't see that on the news and you don't hear about the number of seniors that have recovered from COVID. And now we really just need to help them return back to normal. Send cards, send letters, drop off books, anything that's going to start to help them to feel like they're starting to come back to normal would be a pleasure. Movies, books, again, anything that they're going to be able to not only do on an individual basis, but hopefully once they return to a somewhat communal environment, because it'll probably not be like they remembered it. It's probably going to be spaced out and it's probably going to be less people and everybody will be at different tables. But things that we can then use to continue to engage them after this pandemic is over. So I would say looking for activities, I tried to write a few things, movies, Bibles, anyone that like to do a virtual Bible study with them, contact the facility in your neighborhood, talk to the activity director and ask how you can do a Zoom or a Skype Bible study. If you were providing Christian services at that facility, you can still do that virtually. And maybe they can do it by iPad with some people. Maybe they can put it on a TV. Some facilities have it where it can stream. So there's lots of things that way. Entertainment has been missing. So if you can have a violinist, maybe stand outside one of the windows or walk around. I'm trying to think outside the box, but they need to see more people coming to just fill them with life and fill them with entertainment and just help them get through this pandemic. So
another thing that I just thought about is I was just watching this video today, and there's this neighborhood of seniors. And every day at 5:30, they come out of their homes and they dance in the street. Someone just blasts music really loud and they just come out and dance in the street. And I thought that was so cool. It looks like so much fun just to actually get them out of the house. And, of course, they social distance, but they can at least come out and have some fun and just engage or see another face. I think that's so important. But Charlotte, thank you so much for coming on our show.
You are welcome. So what I'm going to go back and tell the nursing homes is they should blast music in the hallway and we should have the residents come to the door of their rooms and they can just dance. I think that's a great idea. We'll just have a big party in the hallway, but just at the doorway. So great idea.
Yeah, they can have like a little dance off in the doorway, Come on, Sally.
So, all right. Thank you.
And that is so awesome. Thank you so much. And, for those listening, this is some tips to help you engage the community and engage this vulnerable, forgotten generation that we really have to take care of. And now that this pandemic is here, let us be safe and be vigilant and see how we can help these individuals who are locked up in their inside. Man, it's terrible, but you know, we can actually do something and we can do something together. So thank you so much. And remember, until next time, have a great day, be safe, and you are worth way more than pearls. Take care, everyone. Until next time. Thank you, Charlotte.
Thank you.